It's starting. Hey,
Oh,
we're
they took away the red
live.
light now.
It's on light. We're on live. We're not going to miss anything.
You sure? We're good.
Now that we're live, any deep dark secrets anybody wants to share?
We did
No?
those before the show.
Oh yeah, we got those are some dark secret guys. I can't believe we didn't. Thank God we didn't record that. Oh my. Adult beverages are poured. The kids are asleep. Welcome to New Dad Gaming, a show about fatherhood, gaming, and new fathers figuring out their gaming lives. My name is Trevor, and I have a 1-year-old.
My name is Gavin, and I have a 1-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I got a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old.
I like giggling all these secrets we're holding now. All those secrets we just spelled off air. How wild. The world will never know.
You're never allowed back to Malaysia, but you know.
Ixnay Malaysia, eh? Oh, that would be a great one. There's a whole comic book right there. Gentlemen, welcome to another podcast. We survived a week.
I like that. Survive another week again. Yay.
Man, I think we mentioned on the top of the we'll definitely have our beer picks, but myself, I'm going through a coffee, and I think Jeff, you're the same.
Oh yeah. Cheers to that.
Cheers to Jeff. It's just definitely that type of week. I don't know if it's like the season or just it.
It's a time.
Like with that,
it's dark now. It's too dark. We used to record this and I could see the sun go down, and now it's just pitch black and moon's out and kids are wandering around.
Yeah, I hate that, man, because like because my son he's still waking up around 6, and now it's dark, and that's just especially oppressive. As opposed to like before, like even at like 5:30, there's sunlight too, and you wake up to that, and you're with them, and that's like, okay, like it's the new day. This is great, but 6 makes it feel so much earlier. It's like I should probably still be sleeping because there's no light.
It's cold now. It's cold in the morning. It's
that too.
Fall. It sucks.
I dig it. I like it.
Oh, get out of here.
I like that, like when you walk out in the morning with the dog, like first thing, the sun's barely cresting out, and take that nice deep breath of that cool morning air.
What time was that? What time did you say?
I don't know.
Like 5 o'clock in the morning?
No, not out with the dog. He's lazy. He sleeps in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The crack of dawn. I was like, oh my God.
No. But yeah, no, I like it. I don't mind the no sunlight, but I used to work coffee shop jobs way back when. Or like, and actually even the house painting stuff, I'd have to be up pretty early for that. Like all the old, and when I worked at the golf course, that was crack of dawn there before the sun was up. So
you've been trained to be a dad your whole life.
Pretty much, yeah. All those odd jobs I've been doing, it's just been like, it's like I've trained for this. So,
back to your training, you got like flashbacks.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah.
Like,
you think you're early, son? I've been doing early since before you were born.
yeah, bring it on. So yeah, I kind of like the quiet of the morning too. So it's I don't mind it too much, but you know, it's more the evening when I see that sun go down a little early. I'm like, oh, I'm done with you, Dave. Because one of my favorite things was to kind of watch, like, sit on the balcony and watch the sun go down. But now, like, that happens like shortly after dinner, so it's like I can't do that for a few months. But, oh well.
No, I worry about it getting too cold because taking him out is a great reliever for many reasons. Like just because you can take him out to the park, he loves walks. All about being outside and being in the stroller, and especially when you get to the park, you just like go, like be free, and he gets to run around. And now as soon as that's gone, as soon as there's like snow and it's like freezing, like I don't know, it's like hard to imagine going back to a lack of mobility because of weather. It's the only thing that fall is like worrying me. Just like it's going to
just like build a nice pile of snow in your backyard and just throw them in it. Go.
Yeah, I've done that. They come back crying. Like throw them in there. Like, here you go.
That beautiful snow sound. Yeah, so this week was so if I start us off for this week, kind of like going down deeper into my crisis as being like a fatherhood and gaming, where again the time that I have to game is so precious. Like it's so few and far between, and like those tiny little hours. And in many ways, I'm seeing this as it's also the games I decide to surround myself with, where it's a bunch of games that don't necessarily respect your time, or they just never end. Like they will take all of your time. So I'm thinking about when I was doing Hearthstone, Street Fighter, Elite Dangerous, No Man's Sky.
Whoa, geez, yeah, that's a lot of.
Yeah, they even had an update recently for the car one. It's not Project Cars.
What was it?
The crew that I'd liked for a while. There's
that one you bought, yeah.
Yeah, I was into like the big multiplayer like car one for a while. The crew, and just looking at those things and just like that's because like I think Gavin, you aptly put it last week. Like it's just a drop in the ocean of time. If you put like an hour into that game is nothing. Like you're not going to do anything. And now it comes to like there's some really awful moments this week where, well, obviously not awful compared to many things in life, but just generally in this gaming.
First world awful.
This is beyond first world awful. This is super first world awful.
Just like Hamptons.
But the time, let's call it sub Hamptons awful. The time that I would used to embrace and was super happy about and excited about now represents like bad decisions where I'm just like, I'm not going to, my off time is not necessarily, if I'm not careful with it, my off time with gaming might not be fruitful enough for me to have enjoyed it and like relax that I would want to pull out of it. I will not get out of that gaming hour what I'd want to. The reason that I would usually dip into gaming in the first place to get it. So yeah, there's a number of times I probably spent the first 10 minutes thinking about which game I was going to play. Like, do I want to like train in Street Fighter again? Do I want to go back to Elite Dangerous, which had a bunch of really amazing updates? It looks awesome. No Man's Sky, do I want to keep pitching towards the center of the universe there? Just all of the just sat there thinking about it.
You need a routine, like No Man's Sky Saturdays and like Taco Tuesday kind of thing, but in gaming.
I think also you need a game without expectations. Like, just sort of go into it. What's my
a game that loves me for me?
My expectation is to play a video game. That's my expectation. Like, I expected to play some more Kombat and do well, and I did not. But oh well. But man, what can you do about it? Yeah, I think you'll get less nervous too, and it will feel less like, oh, I got to make the right choice because I only have so much time. And it's like, yeah, but that's even more reason to take it a little bit more, like, fart around, and it's like trying to pick a movie for movie night. Like it happens sometimes with my wife and I. It's like we'll just stare at the Netflix queue and like, watch. And it's like baby's asleep. We only got like another 3 hours before we gotta call it a night ourselves because she's gonna have us up. So you want comedy? You want drama? So it's like that sort of like I totally relate to that nervousness of like we gotta pick right because it's like our window. This is it. It's like we don't get to do over tomorrow because that's bath night. So yeah, it's like it can be overwhelming, but I think if you just sort of like take it casually, that might help. But yeah, it is definitely something that even affects me sometimes. Where I'm like, it's like, do I play more Fallout and collect more spoons and duct tape, or do I play something a little bit more chapter based where my session will actually?
Yeah, like of all the time wasters, I think I'm finding Street Fighter still. I have not touched it. Even this entire week, it just keeps. I'll say it's the game that's most on my shoulder, as far as reminding me that maybe I should give it a shot because there's the last Street Fighter I think was out for like 10 years, right? Yeah. So if I ever am able to get over that hump, where I just get it, like I start to get the mechanics and I can feel like I'm participating in the scene as far as like just kind of like getting up the ranks and like if I find that enjoyable, like that could be something that I'd have. That's a kind of base skill I'd probably have for like that I could apply for 5 years. As silly as that sounds, but it's a game that's going to survive for quite some time. Yeah, and same with even with Overwatch. With if eventually you're kind of moving up and like you're getting into that quasi competitive scene, not competitive in that like off we go to become a pro gamer, but still you just transcended the basics of it, and now you're kind of speaking its language and getting together with teams and doing it a bit more. And again, that's just something that would exist for a while, as opposed to maybe something like The Crew, which is just, you know, like a car ocean that takes your hours.
Yeah.
If only there was an apt vehicle metaphor for an ocean, but we'll stick with cars. Yeah, but then you get something like Fallout 4, which is just like the size of it, like the breadth and the depth, and like it even has a progression. Like you could finish that thing, totally not make any progress in the course of 4 hours. Like Gavin said, spoons and duct tape. And I think I made so little progress. Anybody who's played that game, like I think I had 20 or 30 hours in it. I don't think I made it to Diamond City. Like one of the very first things they wanted you to do, just didn't do it. Had a great time, but
I don't know. Here, it's like 3 days of just pure hours logged. You're like, yeah, I still haven't been, because like those games are meant to feel like they're unbeatable in the sense of completion, because that's what makes it feel real. It's like in a real world, the adventure never stops, you know. So that sense of I want to take a bite out of this apple. It's like it's meant to be a buffet. It's meant to be all you can eat, and then it will still exist even after you're filled. So yeah, it's hard when, like, I find with myself, the games that have been providing me with, even open world games that have been providing me with the best sort of like, oh, I only got this so much time to do, okay, fine. Experience is like more chapter based and level based narratives. I find those have been, even like Mad Max had some good story missions that I could complete in a session and feel like I've actually, and even with some of the upgrades and unlocks, I felt like, yeah, I'm making some headway here. It was a good session, and it happened within the duration of a nap or like, you know, an hour or two before bed. I can't really speak much to this, but I'm not sure how conducive competitive are to this sort of schedule. It would be great to know of another like dad gamer out there who's actually doing the competitive scene, because I think that's a tough thing too, is like if you want to do Street Fighter, a lot of the people in the competitive scene for Street Fighter, that's all they play. And like, is that what you want in your gaming schedule, or do you want the variety? It's a tough choice, because it's like, to do that isn't just time dedication, it's all your gaming time must be for this thing.
Yep.
That's a tough call too.
I've experienced that kind of feeling in Witcher, which I've been playing through. I said out loud to myself when I was playing it that there needs to be like a cheat that's like a dad cheat. So it just, you enable it if you're a dad or a parent or mom, whatever.
Yeah.
Enable it, and it shows you all those missions that just affect the story. Like none of the other crap that's on my map that I don't have to care about right now, or I can go back and do later after I beat it, right?
It's the I got stuff to do filter.
Yeah, just give me what the bare bones is. Like, yes, I have to make some choices, but these are all those.
Yeah, it's like you should be able to like enter the Konami code to get the Cliff Notes version.
Yeah, perfect. Done.
Like,
that'd be a nice universal one. Yeah, I think more than two is this. There are beatable games, and there's a bunch of them that I want to get to and play. And for instance,
beatable. I heard Beetle.
I was like, oh,
what game?
Like
Beetle games. Love Beetle games. No, sorry, games that have an end.
Oh, that's good.
And recently they had the re-release of BioShock. And as I understood it, like anybody who has versions of it already will get the new remastered versions, so upgraded textures and better graphics and everything. I had never actually finished either of them. I've played both a bit. So I thought to myself, how great would it be to finally beat BioShock? Because I did really enjoy the parts that I had played. But then there's those bigger like time sucks. So I think there's also that.
Right? I think you answered your problem right there. You refer to the games that are currently in your roster as
time sucks. Yeah.
And it's like, why are these?
And you haven't beaten anything.
I have very limited time to play, yet these time suck games just aren't fitting the bill.
Yeah, imagine that. Yeah, I know. I think
Square peg round hole.
I think the mix will be because amongst all of this darkness,
Where's the light, Trevor? Where's the light?
The shining light has been Gravity Rush, which I have finally got back to playing. So that not back to, I finally began to play. So that's on got that on the PS4. It's a remastered version. Gravity Rush. It's a perfect encapsulated little game. Like it's just so wonderfully
Great.
it's this nice box and it stays nicely in that box. And even just some of the compared to everything else I'd been playing, and even on non-time suck games, its approach to upgrades and the story and the world and everything, like it's so perfectly. I was trying to remember back. Was it a Vita title like originally? Like was it mobile or was it for PlayStation 3?
It might have been PS3 in
Japan.
Could be. Because it's yeah, but it's so wonderfully limited in a very good way. Like it's just the upgrades are relatively tight, so like I can get good upgrades without having to spend everything.
It's not a bloated grind where it's like each upgrade that you do feels like it actually serves a purpose. It's an upgrade system more like Castlevania or Metroid.
God of War.
It's like this upgrade is actually going to improve and change the dynamic of the game and how you approach the game and how you solve problems, as opposed to just like, oh, I got plus 10 on my hit points now.
Yay. But if anyone has not tried it, I would highly suggest like trying to get a demo. Just buying it like is relatively cheap right now. Like I have never felt such an awesome feeling of flight in a game, and it's not even technically flight. It's flight. It's falling. All right, because for those who haven't seen it, you have an ability to be able to control gravity, and it's literally just what direction does gravity pull you. So this isn't so much about you in a very controlled sense going up, and then I'm going to just kind of go down or then swoop around. Like it is now, the world is literally at this weird 45-degree angle, and you just fall towards buildings. They're in that direction, and when you land, like you'll stick to buildings at that angle. So if you can imagine, like you kind of just turn the gravity on its side. You're now running on the side of these buildings.
This sounds like a game design nightmare. Like,
I can't believe they pulled it off.
The QA on that, you'd be like, I'm stuck in between a building. Only if I rotate the world this way at this moment.
Imagine Escher was your level designer.
Yeah, that's right.
It reminds me of like a relatively flopped game that happened on the Xbox. I think it might have been on other ones as well, called Inversion, and that was about like an alien invasion where they made gravity go upside down. Something like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
or maybe I was right on the head. It didn't quite catch on as well as I hoped.
Yeah.
But it sounds like Gravity Rush was like, yeah, we like the idea of playing with gravity, but we're gonna make it stable and not like Gears of War upside down.
Yeah, and you never, I'm telling you, you never really feel completely in control of it, but it feels just like,
which is good.
You know, we've all played some sort of game where you're you're never in control of it fully. It never feels like that. And so you're just like, you're putting yourself up there and just like hurling yourself over that way, and you fly
like
through
a rush of gravity.
Yeah. Wow. You did it. You found it. You found the Da Vinci's Code. Look at that. But yeah, so the world, it's super Japanese. It's very Japanese in some of the storytelling elements. There's some really cool. You can actually, it can use the Move controller. I'm still getting used to the PlayStation 4 controller yelling at me sometimes.
I turn that speaker off.
Oh yeah, I don't like it
anymore. So I just turned it right off.
And one way to control gravity, you can actually just kind of like tilt the thing. Turn that off too. I don't like it.
That sounds crazy.
But it's so there's parts of the story that you just go off into, of course, like this other world, and you have to transcend it, and all the backgrounds are just these crazy creatures with colors. You fight off these one things, and then plants light up to like show you to the next way. So very Japanese, but it never so far that you would lose yourself. But it's just fun, very lighthearted interesting enough story. You're kind of curious to see where it goes, and that feeling of like just hurling yourself with the gravity is fantastic. And as I said, from a father approach, especially when coming from a bunch of overly deep games, never ending ones, like to have something that's so perfectly contained it's a treat. Just absolutely loving this game.
I think it's a personality thing too. Like I know you really like to feel like you've completed something. Um, so I think yeah, like playing games like No Man's Sky that are kind of designed to never end, like it's kind of like it puts you in a bit of a tight spot, and it's like you are kind of unable to hit that catharsis that you're craving, or something like Gravity Rush. It gives you a fun experience, but it's also something that you feel like you get the necessary amount of progression for the time put in. So I think games like that are probably like, you know, those are kind of the games that I gravitate towards too. Like I will also play games that I know are time sinks, but I also my expectations of what I will achieve in those, I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to make a dent in this, but I'm going to have fun kicking around in the sandbox for a bit, and then it's going to go back on the shelf. Um, yeah, it's sort of like deciding how much of it. Like I think games like No Man's Sky and that, where or even Just Cause 3, like I'm gonna have fun. I'm gonna fly around, gonna blow some stuff up, watch bridges fall, and or go shoot rocks for a few hours, and then I got my fill. But like the games that I'm like, I want to sink my teeth into this and see it through to the end. Like I think focusing on things like Gravity Rush or even like the Uncharted series or things like that. I think
Journey,
they're more
2 hours.
Hey,
Journey. That's 2-3
yeah,
hours. Quick win. You need quick
yeah,
wins. Get Journey.
yeah,
the
man.
order. The Order 1888. You do that one.
You don't even have to play that one.
You
Yeah,
don't. You just
I
watch
hardly
it.
play that at all.
Quick win.
No, I got no Journey's queued up. I got that as part of that PlayStation monthly thing. So
Yeah. That's
I was,
that's gonna wreak havoc on you because you get 2 free games a month, right? So
oh no,
you'll
yeah.
be like, uh-oh. Now what do I play?
It's kind of the reason why I avoided it. Is it's not as much like it's not that I don't think it's a valuable service. It's just like I don't have the time to make full advantage of it. Like, and I have a feeling that the backlog and pile of free stuff that I collect, I just feel like, oh, but now, oh, I got all this stuff, and just be a big tease. Or I'm like, no, I just want to, yeah. So, oh, I would suggest too. Doom was fantastic for short intervals of play. You
Yep.
could get your way through a couple good checkpoints and kind of solidify yourself at the next spot, and then like had that sense of progression. And there's also a really good grade system in that as well. And it felt good to sort of you'd play it, you'd walk away, and you're like, you know what, that was a solid hour and a half. I felt like I made more progress in that hour and a half than I have in like 3 hours of like some space sim. And it's and that's the thing. It's like I used to love space sims, and I would dump like hundreds of hours into the bloody things, but I don't think I can do that quite yet again. Like maybe later, maybe.
Like how many years does 100 hours represent now? Like 10 years? Like
Mhm.
10, in 10 years you can spend 100 hours on something now?
It'd be tough. Yeah, I think
Maybe.
also too. Like I'm not sure, Jeff. You might be able to speak to this, but like, okay, school factor. Did your gaming time allotment go up any significant percent when they went off to school?
For me, not really. It's mainly it's because you guys are at a weird age with your kids. It's kind of like they're in between going down, sleeping for a little bit, getting into routine. But it's really my younger son who are around 2 or 3. He can go down at 7. Like 7 p.m. he was out. That was my gaming time from like 7 to whenever I wanted, right? So I do, a gaming night one night and then maybe something else the next night. But at least I knew I had the hours, right?
Yeah.
With school, it didn't really do anything to them. It was mainly summer did. Summer did a lot. So keeping them active during the entire day, they went to sleep. It was great.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like pumping 100 hours into something. And I know I've said I've fought Witcher for almost a year now. So
Yeah.
you have to have like 2 games going at once, because I've completed Uncharted 4 during that time and a bunch of other games. I think you have to flip on and off.
That's
Otherwise,
actually
you're
a
just
good
gonna.
point. That's a really good point about having like to keep your dad game morale high and to feel like your gaming is actually helping you get through a library.
Yeah.
Like try to alternate, and like I tend to alternate not based on time allotment, but more based on like style of play. It's like, oh, I just finished a first person shooter. I might switch it up to a third person or an adventure game or an RPG.
Yeah.
And like, oh, I just finished a really lengthy RPG. You know what? I need something I can rip through, and I'll put in like more of like a third person adventure action sort of thing. I'll try not to follow one open world game with another open world game. So I switch up genres mostly so I don't get bored, but actually coincidentally enough, it's also there seems to be a lot of time commitment variation as well, where it's like, hey, I just finished this huge open world first person game. It's like I'm gonna play like an indie platformer, and it's like I just
Yeah.
it's like, and what's great too is it makes your appetite for it better because you're like, that's it's like I've just finished a bunch of third person action adventure, so like I'm gonna play a fighting game, totally unrelated.
Yeah.
But it makes the fighting game, even though I'm horrible at it, enjoyable. So I think switching it up might be a good thing, but not just switch up like genre of storytelling, but like maybe try some platformers for a bit. Platformers might at least make you feel like, yeah, it's like, and in that way you don't feel like you don't feel the guilt of the time waste that a more uh, uh, clock hungry game might impose on you, like No Man's Sky. Like you won't feel like, oh, I spent my entire gaming week shooting calcium out of stone. And it's like, okay,
An
but
apt
like,
description. I think that's going to be on the box actually now. Shooting calcium out of stone all week.
quote of the year. But yeah, you don't feel that regret of like, oh, I spent the entire week. But if you switch it up and you're like, yeah, I made a bit of progress in No Man's Sky. I'm going to chip away at that mountain for a few more years. But, I got halfway through this other platform, and that's been really fun. And I think things like Gravity Rush is a great example of that. Like, you're really digging it because it's offsetting the feelings you're getting from the other games. So it's also allowing you to enjoy those other games more because you have Gravity Rush to satisfy that other need instead of just expecting all the needs to come from one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down. Yeah, and I think the one that had been the side game was Just Cause 3, and I think that was a very lousy side game given its size because
Yeah,
felt very much the same thing.
Huge.
But
Yeah.
it's the open world, man. Sometimes
open worlds.
you need a nice scripted linear path. It's like, show me
Just
where to
got
go.
just got
Tell
just
me what
got
to
too
do.
open. Too open.
Oh.
Mic fell. So open, in fact. All right. So Gavin, yourself, how was your week in fatherhood and gaming?
Fatherhood. I'm gonna humble brag. I kind of crushed it this weekend.
What?
I'm just saying, I did well. Daddy did good. Yesterday, my wife worked all day, but then she also had like an evening engagement with a few of her work colleagues, and it was kind of a girls' night sort of thing. I was jealous. She had some really good chicken wings apparently, so I was a little jealous of that. But no, I did for 14 hours straight, like no tag in, no assists, and it went fine. And yeah, and then today I managed to get like it was like that Sunday chore list where like I got a bunch of stuff done. I went got got some groceries. I had to do a few returns for some business supplies. Um, Repotted a fern. Did a bunch of dishes.
All over the
Cleaned
place.
the
Wow.
closet. Yeah, I was like,
You're like Trevor's
oh,
Follow character in life.
Yeah,
yeah. Made a
I
chair
just say
for an
like
old
in
heroin
the
addict. It was
movie.
great.
In the movie, when they
But
have the
no,
guy describe what like married life is like, married with kids, like that's the list. Well, I had to
so
drop off some supplies. I had to repot a fern. Like, that's right, fellas, replot
yeah,
ferns.
all been there. So yeah, it was a really solid weekend. Felt like it got a lot done. It's not like in like today, it was great too because my wife made some butternut squash soup for dinner, so that was awesome too. It was like we had a good parent this weekend, but I had some dad pride as well, just sort of getting some stuff
Very nice.
done off the to-do list and all that. But also too, like, you know, it's not like my wife didn't do her fair share either. So, but
Good
yeah,
save.
no, it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, good save. She's right over there, so of course it's a good save.
As he looks off camera.
I just got the look over the glasses. So yeah. No, as for gaming, playing this one game that I've been really digging, and it's one that not a lot of people have heard about, and I just kind of discovered it on happenstance, called The Deadly Tower of Monsters. And it's really, really, really fun. It's like this old Plan 9 from outer space sci-fi campiness.
Oh.
The dinosaur enemies and a few of the other enemies that you fight in the game are like old Ray Harryhausen animation style, and like they managed to make it convincing. Like the way that they just
Really?
remove tween frames and stuff, like this very just like stop motion jagged movements, and it feels so good to beat up a stop motion dinosaur with your like 70s sci-fi ray gun man. Yeah, it's a really fun game. It's got a cool unlock system, sort of a Metroidvania vibe. Like there's 3 different characters that you can play as that you hop between. So like certain characters have certain abilities that you might need for getting past certain areas. Yeah, it's a really, really fun game. And it's like a platformer, but like it's just one giant tower that you're ascending. So right now I'm so high up, I'm actually like in a lower orbit of the planet, like it just past the atmosphere. But then you can like jump off the tower anytime and sort of like base jump and use your rocket pack to break your fall at the very end. So there's some backtracking for collectibles and upgrades and stuff like that, where it's like you can look over the edge and then hop off if there's something you need. Yeah, it's a really fun game. Like it's got some rough edges, but like it's got a lot of heart, man. It's got some kind of innovative stuff going on too, like stuff I hadn't seen before. There's a fun little boss battle where you had to do like to unlock an elevator, you had to like stand on a platform, but the platform was a Simon game. So you had to like, and like it was literally like the color scheme of a Simon game and the shape and everything.
Oh God.
You had to like hop from button to button in a certain order, and that was super enjoyable. I laughed so hard at that. And the whole time you're being chased by this mechanical chameleon robot thing that's trying to kill you. It's got saw blades for hands for some reason. I think a lot of the reasons in the game are like, why not? Yeah,
the mechanical, yes, mechanical lizard looks pretty good, but could we kick it up a notch?
Yeah.
Saw blade hands. That's the one. Do it.
That's it. Yeah, it's fun game. I highly recommend it. It's great in small doses, but sometimes I even find myself playing the full like session. Like if I have a good chunk of time, I'll just sit down and play it. Also because I am horrible, embarrassingly bad at Mortal Kombat. And
Like in fighting games,
Street
man.
Fighter bad, or
that's not insult the man. Like
no, I think I might be worse. It's bad. It's really bad. It's like I think I might ask a friend who I know is good at it to train me.
Whoa.
Can you Yoda me into like being half decent? So yeah, no, but it's fun. Like it's a good game, and I don't fault the game for it. I know it's totally all on me. Yeah, I'm really bad at it. So I'll play 1 or 2 matches in that, and then when I feel like I'm bruised enough, then I'll go play the Deadly Tower Monsters and feel totally awesome, and then call it a day. And then I'll win. So,
that other game didn't know what to talk about. I'm amazing. Thanks, Tower of Monsters. See, so the man, I mean, and you have to report back on that with Mortal Kombat, because I'd be curious to see your experience with that as opposed to mine with Street Fighter. Well, you have a shepherd though. But you have a Sherpa to bring you through that, like.
Or
I
shepherd.
also have absolutely no desire at all to see my standings online. Or like this is basically just like, can I beat up the computer a bit? Like I will never even dip my toe in the competitive scene because I know I have no business being there, and it doesn't appeal to me. Like I want to get good so that way at least if I'm playing it at a party, I won't get like laughed out of the apartment, you know. But I will definitely keep you guys posted on my progression because I definitely, even just to feel half competent playing against the AI, I have a long journey. So it's like me just trying not to die in story mode. It will be like Trevor trying to like get into like a tournament. It's basically the equivalent. It's like it's pretty bad. I think honestly you could solder a Texas Instrument calculator to a controller and it would beat me. That's how bad I am.
Wow.
That sounds horrible.
I don't know. Those calculators are pretty advanced, though. Let's be
I'm not even
honest.
talking about the graphing ones either. Like I'm just a standard logarithm one.
Like a speak and spell. Like
You know that farm animal thing? You pull the cord on it and it spins. Yeah, you hook one of those up.
oh, you
duct tape that.
die.
Yeah, duct tape that to a PS4 controller. It will beat me at Mortal Kombat.
Okay, this is the worst MacGyver episode they ever aired. I would take the speak and spell and attach it to this PS4. Totally gonna beat this guy at Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
That's probably
Jeff yourself.
This week in parenting, I didn't rock it like Gavin, a superstar.
Yeah, you kind of set the bar a little too high for us there.
But we're experiencing some backtalk with our oldest.
A little bit of sassafras.
Little, phrases like "oh, literally" and like "seriously" and "I can't believe you've done this" and all those sorts of things that are used.
Wait, that's coming from you or from the kids?
From the kids.
Okay, I'm imagining you looking at the kids like, seriously?
No,
that's literally
me.
Did that with the toilet.
Yeah,
seriously,
literally. What
Those
did
are
I
all
ever
phrases
do?
I use on my dog on a daily basis.
Yeah,
yeah. You might be in trouble because I think that's what she's going to learn it.
Yeah. No, we're getting into all that, which is, I think, a product of grade 1 or just growing up. We'll see. I don't know where it's come from, but
so it's those lousy kids in grade 1, guaranteed.
Those, I don't know, but it's fun trying to deal with it too, right? Because you have to kind of break it down.
What are you talking? Yeah. How's that fun?
It's like a puzzle because you're like, I can't get angry at this, so how do I make it work against them? So it's a new adventure each time.
I like that optimism. Jeez. It's like
no, it's kind of like a mental game because you don't get too many of those. You're kind of playing to their needs a lot. So this is like it kind of tests you. It's like, all right, let's see what we can do to kind of screw with his mind and make sure that what he's saying is what I want him to say, but he doesn't know it.
I'm trying to put myself there. It's just like, all right, my son is being beat up by that girl. How can I come at it like really creatively?
Well, no, that's kind of different. Yeah. You want to attack that.
I'm imagining it as far as like beating down the rage that I discussed last week.
Your eye twitches a little bit, but then you get over it. You have to approach it. Cool head.
That's a great. You
gotta zen yourself, attitude. Then. Other than that,
I'm excited to hear how this goes. Like, because that's the thing is you can't really. It's like okay, rook to g5. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see this. Let's see how this goes. And just figuring out a way of.
It's gonna get worse, right? Like I have to. This is the start. This is the beginning.
This is the rain clouds on the horizon. The hurricane's not even ashore yet.
No, the hormones haven't arrived yet. So
the vocabulary is still very small.
Yeah.
I learn a lot of new ways.
To
put those sentences together.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right. I'm excited to see how you handle these. I have a feeling you're gonna have a couple good conversations to recite.
Oh, I bet.
Do it like a radio play.
I should.
Like an old timey radio play. I think that would be the best way to reenact. Like DAS suppression conversations you have with your kid.
Coming.
The father enters the room as the kid is doing what? How will he handle this nonsense?
Exactly.
Perfect.
What was the word sassafras?
Sassafras.
How might the father handle this sassafras? Tune in.
That's good. I'll have you as my narrator.
There we go.
Please, I would gladly do that.
See if you come out of the room, just a random room. Oh, how will I handle this one?
Yeah, it'll be live, real time. I'll just start hanging out your house with like an
go.
old timey
Foley work.
reporter hat.
Need a break.
I'll just like put like all the sound effects will just be horse feet with coconuts. Like that's all it is.
He arrives at his mansion to find the kids asunder.
Wow, see?
That came together really nice. It's
made
perfect.
for this. Let's do it.
Oh,
That's what this podcast becomes. It's going to be
Yeah.
radio
This will be
drama.
The last episode of New Dad Gaming. Tune in next week. Old timey toddler talk.
I like it.
Good title.
We got
Snappy. That's wow. Dealing with back talk.
Yep. But
That's new territory for us new dads. So.
yes, yeah, for me too. So, but in terms of gaming, we have friends that have invited us over for a Mario Kart tournament. So, not between adults, but between the kids.
Still ooh.
But it's still between the adults.
Oh yeah, I want my. We're gonna have a couple
It's
games
like saying a
ourselves.
dog fights between the dogs. It's
Yeah.
not between the dogs.
So this is where we cue the Rocky montage. Like
Yes. See, yes.
raw
for sure.
eggs and
We had to do a lot of training over this weekend because the party is Friday. So
All right.
we need to get ready. Their kids are the same age, pretty much, give or take a couple months. So I've heard that their skills are much higher in the youngest one. So I need to train my youngest because he's played with an unplugged controller all this time.
what it normally does. I'm usually so great.
Right. He wins all the time. I don't get it. So we need to start
Which one was I, Daddy?
on
That
zero.
one. That
Why
one.
aren't I winning? Why aren't the same buttons I'm pressing doing the same things they used to do? Yeah. So we plugged his controller in and we had a great time. Daddy didn't yell. Harder, go faster, get that mushroom. What are you doing? There's a blue shell.
Why would you go left? You never go left.
Daddy didn't yell, seriously?
Yeah.
I did that.
Seriously, literally, come on.
Literally? I don't know where my oldest is getting this from.
And if you've ever played Mario Kart, there's quite a bit of courses too, and the reverse courses. So I have no idea what they're going to throw at us. We're practicing them all.
So,
was amazing. How's the
like,
kid taking this? Sorry, Gavin, you go first.
I was just gonna say, is there like lawn mowing on the table? Like, what's the stakes for the?
What's the stakes? We need to decide the stakes. Maybe who pays for
Beer.
the pizza that night or something.
Shoveling for the first snowfall.
What it will be babysitting all the kids. So
There you
one
go.
couple can have a date night.
Oh, that's
what it
too
will
high.
be.
That's too
That's
rich.
too high. I'm
Too
out.
rich.
I'm walking out. Why don't we put $1,000 down? That's better.
No, that's better.
Let's say everybody brings a six pack, and whoever wins takes all the 6-packs home.
Ooh,
I like that bet too.
yeah, that's a good bet.
I really got to get my kids into training though.
We can't
I'm
really
not-
talk too much about betting. We don't want to get in like a CS:GO sort of situation here, though.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
right. Yeah.
So if you would like to bet on Jeff's kids,
Yeah.
dial 1.
Well, it should be a fun time. It's a good way to I don't know, introduce them into gaming and make a fun night out of it. And they're already kind of there. My oldest is like a pro at this stuff, so I don't have any worries on him. It's my youngest that just sits and watch like a brother does. Right?
You know, every professional gaming team has the worst player, you know? So you just need to work on that.
He could be
And,
the power guy, right? He just shoves people off a cliff or take that hit. You know, he's
Exactly.
he's
That's
that
his
teammate that
strategy.
The water boy of Mario Kart. It's like,
Yeah, perfect.
hey, Tao,
So he's
kid,
gonna-
take
You might give him a taste. You might give him a taste for this though. Like,
Yeah.
like, man, I won this and I won all these candy bars. Like, man, I love winning things from gaming. And so starts his pro gaming career.
Yeah.
You're setting him on the path. It begins.
Well, it'd be cool to do like a monthly feature of this too, right? Just as a, I don't know, Like a season of Mario Kart tournaments.
Yeah, if you guys do more than one, that would
A
be
lot of 6-packs,
As long
but
as we don't turn into like dance moms or something like that. And entire show
man,
about us
man,
training
TLC would pick this up in a heartbeat.
in a heart,
Instant show.
heart,
Mario Kart moms.
yeah, Kurt dads.
Kart dads. Yeah, so it's gotta be equal. It's gotta be dads.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
like we're like hockey parents on this side. You're doing better.
You literally missed the mushroom. Literally. Seriously? Seriously.
Seriously, come on. I taught you better than that. Come on.
We trained on this all
Seriously?
week. You're forgetting it.
Can't believe you've done that.
There you go.
No,
There it
be
is.
fun.
That's where we're gonna sell it to TLC.
And I'll
Which
take
used to
bets
be
at the end of the show.
Telling the call-in numbers. We'll top tips of the week, how the teams are looking.
Yeah.
The youngest is really picked up a lot of tricks this week.
No, you got to do it in your old timey voice. You got to do
The
it.
youngest has been
It's just in.
good news. Good news, folks. Kid, the youngest, has learned a whole bunch of. I'm trying to think of old-timey slang, and nothing came off. It's just in, folks. The youngest have just picked up the latest tips of Mario Kart. On these carts, he's able to do many Mario things. Which things? Stay tuned.
Perfect. Narrate my
Welcome.
life, Trevor.
And wrap. That beeping was perfect. Oh, too good. So, shall we transition to beer picks, gents?
Sure.
So start the show. Start mine first. So it's actually, as I mentioned, I'm drinking coffee now because that's the kind of week it's been. But early in the day, I had a phenomenal beer. I half expect, Gavin, you might have mentioned this one before, but it's Mythology from Flying Monkeys.
Yes, I think I actually reviewed that a few weeks ago.
Had it or suggested it?
I think I had it.
Okay.
Or with podcast. Sorry, I just punched the microphone. Yeah. No, I think that was one of my picks. Like,
Oh man,
I
really?
think. I don't know.
Okay. Well, too bad. I'm double upping. It's great beer. It's delicious.
Do you have a can with you, or do you just have it at the?
I had it at the place and it was on tap, which is
Oh, wow.
it's
I had
especially
cans,
a treat.
so there you go.
Oh man, like it was. I guess my problem with like Flying Monkeys usually is I've had a bunch of them and I found a few of them to be quite hoppy, and very much like the craft beer hoppy sense. So this one was just, man, so smooth, like incredibly flavorful. Just a fantastic, really easy drinking, but just a ton of flavor to it. Like it was just phenomenal. So they call it a Canadian Golden Pilsner. And like I said, even if you've had some Flying Monkeys before and it wasn't quite your bag, like this one is definitely one to try. And especially if you can get it on tap, which is what I can vouch for, given that this is how I had it. Like it was just like, oh, just delicious. Super flavorful, nice and smooth. You could have a couple if you cared to. And wonderful. Definitely find it. If I see it again, I would buy it again if I found it at the beer store and or else. Like that was delicious. Definitely add it to the roster. Gavin, yourself?
Well, tonight I was just enjoying some Sleeman Silver Creek, but actually now that you mention having a craft beer on tap and really enjoying it, I'm actually gonna. I think it was earlier this week. I had some Barking Squirrel.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I
Good.
had Barking Squirrel canned before, and I liked it, but I thought it was a little heavy with hop. But in draft, I found it was a little bit more balanced. So that could be a factor too, where some of the craft beers work better from a keg than a can. But yeah, Barking Squirrel on tap was really enjoyable. It was a little smoother than the canned version. Yeah, so it's your sort of typical microbrew style, little strong with flavor, but in a good way. You definitely know you're drinking a beer. And yeah, no, it was really good. I was pleasantly surprised, and I saw it on the list. I'm like, okay, I'll give it another
like that
shot.
one.
You have to.
Better. Like, 'cause I enjoyed it on like with can, but I found like the can was like, okay, that was good, but it was on the border of almost hitting my threshold personally. But the draft was entirely different. I find the same with the Bose Lug Tread. I like it a little bit more on tap than I do with the bottle version. But I think that's a lot of beer though. Like, a lot of beer is just better on tap. But some hold up well enough with the take home sort of deal. But yeah, that's my pick of the week. Park and Squirrel draft.
Nice.
I'll have to try that, yeah, because I've had that same reaction to the canned one. So I'd be curious if it'd solve it for me. Draft. That's a good pick. Jeff, yourself.
My pick, this monstrosity. Kronenberg Blanc White. If you like Five Alive, you'll like this one. The thing tastes like pop. It tastes like fruity pop. I love Kronenberg, but I do not like the Blanc. It's like side launch.
Ooh, Trevor's gonna love
Trevor
it.
has to try this one.
Man, that's gonna be my beer. That's got to be my beer next week because you and I have such different approaches to beer from a flavor perspective. Because side launch being my jam, and you hating it, you actually hate
it. No, this is fruity. If you like fruit, this fruity. Five Alive,
like Five Alive,
citrus explosion, kind of with like a champagne-y, bubbly, carbonated. It's for people that don't like beer. They can drink this.
Wow, jeez.
It's not good. It is not.
I haven't heard this much anger since side launch.
Here's a disclaimer though. Jeff actually really does like Kronenberg.
I do. I really like Kronenberg.
So it's not just about Kronenberg. It's that offshoot of Kronenberg that's apparently to tickling his fancy.
Man,
I don't know. I don't really like white beers. Like like the Rickard's White. I don't like the orange in it. I don't know. That's not my jam.
Putting fruit in your beer. Even
I don't like it. No.
Due to the filtration process.
I have so many. I've bought like Keith's is my base beer as per last week. So a lot of the times they would come with those fruit infusers. I've got like, I don't know, 6 of those that are stacked. I'm like,
fruit infusers?
Yeah. So you want to back that up a little bit for us. What?
It's a fruit infuser. It came in the case. So it came free. And it looks like, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Secret of the Ooze? The ooze chamber?
Yeah.
It's like that. And you pour the beer in. And it's got like a little sub filter where you just stick in fresh berries, cut fruit, whatever you want. And as you pour the beer into it, it like lowers itself down into the beer and you drink it and you've infused your own Keith's with your own fruity grossness.
So you make like a
what are you talking?
Sangria?
Yeah.
What? Like a French press?
Yep.
What?
If I have one close by, I'll go grab it, but I think I chucked them. But yes, it's a fruit.
I think I set them on fire.
Yeah. I'm like, why am I going to use this ever? And why would I ruin
for like but Keith's though, like that's not.
No, it's not one to.
That's a very basic beer. Like I could almost imagine if they gave you like that normal wheat beer, just not without fruit, and then you could add your own fruit. Maybe
well, I don't know.
That's like
you could apply it to other beers if you wanted to. I just have not bothered because I don't like
Bud Light.
I'm gonna have to Google this thing. Like,
Bud Light.
I'm curious to see this apparatus.
You have a Bud Light over cranberries. There you go.
It sounds akin to me like the Coors Light nacho infuser. Like that sounds. It sounds so.
Whoa, nacho infuser.
Well, it doesn't exist. I'm just saying. Like, it sounds so
like wicked,
field and bizarre. Like
you know what's really funny though is that it sounded plausible.
Yeah, it did. I think
it sounded so plausible. I'm like, wait, I did a what?
So keep an eye on stores.
Nacho hat with like. It's like one of those nacho chip hats, but it also has a beer hat in it as well.
I think it's a good idea.
That's got to exist.
Somewhere. But no, this fruit infuser, it's, if you want one, I can find it and ship it to you.
I'm good. Take a word for it. It's so weird, though. It's like they made this weird kind of like tea press for beer.
Yeah,
and fruit.
yeah. It's not good.
God, that sounds so... I'm having a hard time...
I'll find a picture of it. I'll find a picture of it. I'll send it to you.
I'll search it up online.
Okay,
hold up. Hey, Gavin. No, hold on. We're doing this live.
It's a
There
little
goes my
wacky
buddy.
and
Here we go.
nightmare. You're not supposed to be able to understand the horror. You're just supposed to look at it in disbelief and walk away.
Yes. But when it's in the box and you open it and you're like, "Oh, why? I want the hat instead."
Yeah. Yeah, beer hats.
I was
and
gonna teach IPA flavor. Oh, it's a YouTube video. Okay, no, I don't want to watch.
Oh, great. It's a video on how to open your beer.
It's literally how to. Okay, so I'm.
Do you see it there? There's a whole bunch of images I found. There's a whole bunch.
Wow,
It's
wow.
gross.
It's really involved.
Yeah.
It's very, very involved. You're not
Good.
kidding.
No.
This one that I looked at looked like coffee. Yeah, no, it's coffee bean. This.
Oh, that's
there's coffee beans.
Really?
There's coffee beans in the coffee. I
Okay.
repeat.
Why would
Hey,
you
Gavin,
do
give me a
that?
news.
Yeah, no, I see the photo with the coffee beans too.
This is great.
This
You
is-
guys now, yeah.
Is that vanilla and ginger?
I don't know. It probably is.
Ginger?
Full lobster?
Oh,
Is that
Oh, that
lime
was
and
just-
jalapeno?
oh it's
That's
like
gross.
yeah, I'm seeing like it's like ginger and vanilla, lime.
You could try
What is
a
it?
whole bunch of things. Look at that. Yep.
The coffee thing is just
Oh,
God. What would that taste like? Not for like, I could get behind. Like, look, I like porters, man. Like, I'm down with it. I like coffee flavor and beers, but not in a Keats.
craft it. Don't just brew it.
Yeah, exactly. When you're just pouring it over it,
tastes like
right? It's not infused into the
Yeah.
beer. It's just
Yeah.
there, sitting on the
Alright.
top.
I think.
And then it-
And this is from the coffee. And to be clear, the coffee one is not just somebody having a laugh. Like that's from the Keith's website.
Yeah,
Like that's a
it's
suggested
official.
recipe.
Well, whoever
Product.
green lit the project probably wanted, hey, look, try to crush all these other flavored beers with our one infuser. We'll have the people do it.
Yeah, it was probably like a marketing team who was like, "Hey, Keith, do you guys want to brew some like flavored beer?" And like the brewery's like, "No." And the marketing team's like, "Fine, we'll do a do-it-yourself kit for at home." And they're
Right.
like, "Yeah, okay, whatever. Just get it."
It would be better if they
Oh,
had the infuser and they took it out to people like a focus group and they're like, how much would you pay for this? And everyone's like, no, wouldn't.
Nothing.
Okay, well, we produced 1 million. Let's put it in the boxes
Yep.
for free.
I have one here. It's a bag of tea, and this is from the Keith's website. So it's a bag of tea and raspberries.
See, sanctioned, horrible.
A bag of tea. Coffee.
Now look up nacho infuser.
Yeah, I almost want to clean my palate with a good old nacho infuser.
Wow, that's yeah.
Just
I'm not shocked
What
that you just sort of got rid of them.
Right?
It just seems unnecessary.
It is. It's completely unnecessary.
okay.
Like it's one thing to throw like a wedge of
Man,
lime
it's-
in or something like that, but like
Hold on.
Well,
I don't know.
jam coffee beans into it and call
See,
it.
don't
How
get
do-
me
how do you
wrong,
get
I
one?
like I like beer cocktails. Like I and there's all sorts of them out there, and
Yeah.
even the ones that have like, Tabasco sauce and all sorts of fun stuff in them. But I like them. But this just seems weird.
Man, I really want to. I'm trying to get to more recipes, but the site's broken.
Yeah,
Let's see.
why?
You're the most hits it's had. It's like, oh my god, somebody likes it.
Produce more.
Our server can't handle a customer.
Yeah. Oh my god,
Yeah,
somebody's
no,
looking for
site's broken.
recipes.
Okay, so what do I do? What do I have to? What does it take to get one?
I'm telling you, if I find it, I will get it to
I
you.
think you just buy a case of Keats.
Yeah, I don't know if
24
it's-
though. I don't tend to buy 24s anymore.
you have to
You are
invest in
now.
24.
And you're gonna have to do 24 different recipes.
Oh, there we go. A beer. Yes.
Buy a case.
It's only two
Every
fours, right?
single beer in that case needs
For
to
limited
be enjoyed as
Yep.
an infused.
Because what I would do, honestly,
Whole other channel.
because
like-
jeez, if you more just imagine like just every week we're on here, and you do one of the official sanctioned recipes. Because maybe that one with coffee is the greatest drink of beer you've ever had. You haven't had it. You don't know.
I haven't had it.
So if I can
I
find
have
one,
not.
man, I'm kind of down to try a bunch. That would be
That'd be hilarious. It'd be great. It's like week 22, and you're just like,
Please.
yeah, Jolly Ranchers aren't too good in this thing. I ran out of stuff to put in the beer.
It's like, well, we got Moose Track ice cream this week, and
Oh God. Throwing your baby food in there. Well, we got cut avocados and
Raw potato.
oh God, yeah, it's so bizarre.
Yep.
It's just it feels
Apparently,
like slightly.
the shallots are really tasty.
Oh, it feels disrespectful to beer.
It is.
It just feels-
Yes, it is.
It's a big
'Cause it-
like thumb of the nose to the brewmaster. It's like, yeah, that thing you worked really hard to just balance just right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna put kiwi in it.
A bunch of kiwi, so much kiwi.
And sriracha because whatever.
Because we
Maybe that's
can't.
how
I
they-
want to see the world burn.
And it says that
Jeff
it's an
probably-
infuser. No infuser. It doesn't infuse anything. It just kind of drains into it.
It just filters it out. Like,
Leaches into it.
you could use a coffee press, let it sit for 10 minutes,
So-
get warm, then spit it out.
Yeah.
Or
All right, I'm gonna try to find one because like I'm. Jeff, try to look for one. I
Yeah,
want you to
I
send
will.
one to me.
I will. I am so glad I brought this up.
this is the fun
That is
experiment.
fascinating.
This is a fun experiment.
I thought you were. I was trying to. That's probably when you first described it. I almost thought it was like flavor packs, like
Yeah,
Oh,
like
like you, like,
concentrate
fire it
you
in
would
there?
squeeze. Like yeah,
Yeah,
it'd be like squeezing like a lemon in it, except it's just like
it's
this
like
pack
Crystal
of like.
Light for beer.
Yeah, like the water. Yeah, the
Yeah,
water
yeah.
flavor.
Oh,
That would
wow,
actually
this-
be better. At least you could like
Yeah.
do it and get it over with.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that I'm down. Like I will gladly for a couple of weeks like infuse some beer and just give some reviews.
I
The coffee
hope.
one
I hope I
terrifies me. I ruined two of the things I like most in life: coffee and beer. Just I can't drink any more of either. It's just like that's it.
I'm done.
It's both bad.
Guess I'll just be drinking Earl Grey and gin and tonics now. British person.
Like a real classy fella.
Timey voice. Hello.
Yeah. So as I'm strolling around Jeff's house now, narrating his entire life, I got a gin and tonic and a tea.
Yeah.
I like my evening beverages I like my current history standings. Colonial East India Trading Company style.
Oh,
So horrible.
So
oh, stay tuned for
have fun
that.
with that. Oh, this is gonna be
I really hope I save one.
you gotta find one. You
Yeah.
gotta, like,
Otherwise, I'll go pick one up. But just also then I have to have 24 of Keith. I don't like Keith so much. I just don't tend to like.
Okay, you take the
Force.
infuser. I'll take the beer.
There
Oh
you go.
well, bless your heart.
Yeah, there you go.
Bless
Get
you.
off your hands.
Bless your
Okay,
kind heart.
Here it is. You get the infuser, and Jeff and I will come over and we'll eat food from your barbecue.
There you go.
And,
Excellent.
Drink all your beer.
Okay, and then all of our kids can play Mario Kart. We'll see who wins.
Yeah, that's very good.
Oh, I think that'll do it for us. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. This has been New Dad Gaming. We do this podcast weekly. You can find us on iTunes as well as many other podcasting services. If you have any questions, thoughts, or show ideas, you can reach out to us at newdadgaming.com. We're on Twitter and Facebook as well. So feel free to follow and reach out to us. Let us know. Share, like, and send it around. Until next week, my name is Trevor. I have 0 infusers and a 1-year-old.
My name is Gavin. I have 0 interest in infusers and I have a 1-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I have a 6-year-old, a 3-year-old, and I'm going to send an infuser to Trevor to try. There's got to be one here.
Full of 'em.
It's got to be.
Okay, guys. See you next week.
Bye.
Yeah.